In the immortal words of Draymond Green, there are 82 game players, and then there are 16 game players. Over the course of a 14-year career that's featured 4 All-Star selections, 4 All-Defensive Team nods, 3 assist titles, and now 2 championships, Rajon Rondo has proved time and again that he belongs in the latter of those 2 categories.
In the playoffs, you become a better player, period. It's not just the numbers, the eyeballs tell you, you have to know that.
In truth, Rondo hasn't been a good regular season player for a while. His last All-Star appearance came 7 years ago, and he's had the Lakers' worst on-court net rating in each of the last 2 seasons. But at this stage of his career, who really cares? He's always seemed to save a little something extra for the playoffs, even back when he was one of the best two-way guards in the league, before he was an aging vet who had to pace himself throughout the year. At age 34, despite his ongoing decline in overall production, he's still finding ways to elevate his game when it matters most. If the Lakers are smart, they won't let him go in free agency. And if other contenders are smart, they'll dangle more dollars and pounce. Playoff Rondo has earned his nickname, whether he likes it or not.
That's not my name. That's not my name. That's not my name.
All-in-one stats like box plus minus or PER consistently show a significant increase in Rondo's production as he transitions to playoff mode. His on-off numbers dramatically improve. His scoring, assist, and rebound rates all go up, while his turnover rate goes down. After he helped the Lakers win a title this past October with yet another postseason glow-up, the idea of playoff Rondo can no longer be dismissed as just the stuff of folklore, false narrative, or small sample size theater. At this point, it's an inescapable fact.
Oh, it's true! It's damn true!
Rondo came of age on a Boston Celtics team full of legendary competitors, and his playoff backbone was formed almost immediately after entering the league.
Allen drives. Rondo gets a nice feed. Rondo inside and draws the foul on Vucevic as he goes down hard. Rondo showing some good aggressiveness in the early minutes.
Matching the intensity, basketball IQ, and mental toughness of Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen, and earning the trust and respect of that Hall of Fame trio would be no small feat for any player, let alone one in his second NBA season. But in 2008, a 22-year-old Rondo did just that.
In the first half, Rondo, open jumper, puts it in. How about Rondo? 4 of 7 from the field, 10 points, 3 assists.
He started each of Boston's 26 playoff games at point guard, playing with the confidence and swagger of a 10-year vet to help Boston claim its first championship in 22 years. It was the lone title that Celtics team would win, but it was just the beginning for playoff Rondo. An injury to Garnett derailed Boston's back-to-back bid the following year, but Rondo stepped up and helped lead the team to an epic 7-game win over Chicago in the first round, and to Game 7 against Orlando in the East semis, by averaging nearly a 17-point triple-double.
The Celtics, Rondo off balance. Oh, he banks it in. What a shot from Rondo.
In 2010, he led the Celtics in playoff minutes as they upset LeBron's Cavs and the defending East champion Magic to get back to the finals, where they took the Lakers down to the final minute of Game 7. 2 years later, with the team's championship core on its last legs, Rondo fully took the reins. Don't let that magic black opal from Uncut Gems fool you.
How many carats is this?
What, 4,000 or 5,000 carats? $3,000 a carat? I'm not.
Why's it got so many colors in it, man? What is this?
Rondo, not Garnett, was the Celtics' best player during that 2012 postseason run. It was his play, as much as anything, that stretched the conference finals against the LeBron and Wade-led Miami Heat the distance. He averaged 20.9 points, 11.3 assists, 6.9 rebounds, and 1.9 steals per game in the series, including a 44-point 10-assist outing in Game 2 and a 22-point triple-double in a tight Game 7 loss. For a while after painting his masterpiece, Playoff Rondo lay dormant. He sat out the following postseason with an injury, and the Celtics missed the playoffs the year after that as they entered a rebuilding phase. They shipped Rondo to Dallas in 2014, and his ill-fated stint there became a stain on his reputation. He underperformed, repeatedly clashed with head coach Rick Carlisle, and wound up leaving the team in the middle of a first-round series under the guise of a back injury. To add insult to fake injury, the Mavs opted not to give him a share of their playoff bonus money. Rondo has hopped around the league in the 5 seasons since, making brief stopovers in Sacramento, Chicago, New Orleans, and finally Los Angeles. He obviously didn't make the playoffs in his lone season with the Kings, because, as you know, that's just something the Kings don't do.
That's a low blow, Stan.
But in each of his other 3 stops, he's gotten to showcase his penchant for playoff heroics. In 2017, he emerged after a rough regular season to help Jimmy Butler and the 8th-seeded Bulls steal games 1 and 2 against the top-seeded Celtics, averaging 11.5 points, 8.5 rebounds, 10 assists, and 3.5 steals in the 2 wins on his former team's home floor. At the tail end of Game 2 in that series, he shouted within earshot of the opposing bench that he and the Bulls had broken the Celtics' spirits. And he was probably right, but unfortunately, it turned out Rondo broke something else in that game: his thumb. He was ruled out for the rest of the series, and the Bulls promptly dropped the next 4 games. Maybe the Celtics would have come back to win that series anyway, but Chicago's immediate collapse after losing Rondo created a tantalizing what-if that only served to pump more helium into the playoff Rondo legend. It continued to balloon the following year in New Orleans, where, after another mediocre regular season, Rondo once again transformed into an invaluable playoff contributor. In the first round against the higher-seeded Portland Trailblazers, Rondo's dialed-up defense helped the Pelicans shut down the star backcourt of Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum, while his sure-handed passing served up countless lobs and a steady diet of post-entry feeds for Anthony Davis, all of which contributed to a Pelicans sweep. The following round, against the dynastic Warriors, Rondo helped New Orleans score its lone win of the series with a career-high 21 assists, tied for the 7th most ever in a playoff game.
Pass inside, beautiful entry, and Davis banks it home.
And finally, in the bubble, after a regular season in which the Lakers performed 5.6 points per 100 possessions worse with Rondo on the floor, and coming off another broken thumb, he returned in the second round looking like a completely new player.
Anyone else sensing a pattern here?
Yes.
After months of disinterested defense, he cranked up his effort on that end of the floor, pressuring James Harden full court and fueling LA's transition offense by forcing heaps of turnovers. And reunited with Davis, he got back to feeding AD pinpoint long-range lobs.
I haven't played with a guy this exciting since probably Kevin Garnett that can do it all and do the intangibles and make a difference on both ends of the court.
A historically shaky outside shooter, Rondo shot 40% on more than 3 three-point attempts per game and posted the best playoff true shooting percentage of his career. He capped things off with 19 points on 8 of 11 shooting in the title-clinching Game 6 over Miami. Rondo's about to become a free agent, and it's understandable why he's no longer considered one of the top-tier point guards available. But as we've made clear, this is no ordinary aging vet. His unimpeachable postseason resume should make him a prime target for any championship hopeful. One of those teams is the Lakers' intra-city rival. The Clippers are coming off a crushing playoff disappointment, after which Kawhi Leonard called out the team's lack of basketball IQ while reportedly pushing the front office to acquire a point guard. So it's no surprise that the Clippers plan to pursue Rondo this offseason. The Lakers, for their part, should do what they can to keep him around. Because of his lack of regular season impact, Rondo's suitors are probably limited to those 2 clubs and maybe a few others as a depth piece in case of injury. But what about the Bucks, who desperately need to reach the finals this season with the clock ticking on Giannis Antetokounmpo's contract? Or the Heat, who came up just shy against the Lakers and could lose Goran Dragic to free agency? Could a reunion with Doc Rivers be in the cards? The Sixers would obviously prefer a point guard who can shoot, given Ben Simmons' limitations. But they're also in desperate need of a half-court floor general, who can consistently do something as simple as just throw Joel Embiid an entry pass. Wherever he winds up playing next year, one thing is certain. How Rondo performs in the regular season will have little bearing on what he has to offer in the playoffs, where he'll once again excel, much to the dismay of his annual doubters. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video and want to see more content like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button.